What's up, peeps? It's your boy CJ, and today we're checking out the Formex Reef Booyah. Full disclosure, this was sent over by Formex as a loan. I do have to send it back. Let's get straight into it. All right, let's get the boring stuff out of the way. So the Reef comes in a case size of 42 millimeters, thickness of 11.4 millimeters, lug width of 22 millimeters, lug to lug of 47 millimeters. It comes with 300 meters water resistance, the Sellita SW300 COS certified chronometer grade movement. The loom is BGW Super Lumen Nova, flat sapphire crystal with AR, quick release carbon fiber deploying clasp, interchangeable zirconium oxide ceramic bezel, more on that later. And it all comes at a price of $1,960 on bracelet and $1,830 on the strap. Additional bezels are $160. So how does it wear? Well, as you can see here, nice and flat on the wrist. It also comes with this beautiful premium rubber strap that aids to the comfort of the watch overall. The watch does wear even more comfortably due to the thickness, and that is thanks to the Sellita inside. So that flush to the wrist, premium feel with those curved lugs, just spot on. The 47 millimeter lug to lug aids to that comfort as it sits dead center on my 7-inch wrist. The added benefit of the watch, or negative depending on how you look at it, is the bold case shape and design of the Reef. It definitely draws attention and gets a lot of questions from anyone around you. Okay, so let's talk features. So I'll start off with the indices and hands. They have these brushed inner and side polished bevel edges for extreme light play, which I really like. They also hug right up against that rehort, and due to the triangular shape, they sort of draw your attention to the center of the dial, which is awesome. A beautiful bottle green dial with this incredible sunburst that Formex has basically perfected in their design, which I think is great. We have a minimal dial with text showcasing the Formex logo in 2 styles above and the Reef chronometer logo below the pinion. Finish off the dial, we have the iconic sloped faceted date window at 6 with the Swiss-made text below. Case features a combination of very fine brushing and polished beveled smooth and angled edges. Large protruding crown guards with a duplicated style on the opposite side of the case to finish off that symmetry. Bold, large signed crown with incredible knurling and the smoothest screw-in action I've ever felt. Interchangeable ceramic bezel that can easily be swapped out for a different look. The underneath of the case has this light-catching polished rim on the under edge, molded shapes to the lugs, which is visually cool, and a nice flat screw-down case back with an incredible engraving of the waves to fit the whole ocean theme. The strap features a quick-release spring bar function for easy strap changes, premium reverse waffle pattern rubber strap with Formex both inside and assigned deploying clasp inside and out as well. Lastly, speaking of the deploying, you can see the micro adjustment here, which is a nifty feature to have, especially on those hotter days. So let's talk legibility and loom. So the large, faceted, polished and brushed indices and hands here really draw your attention to the center of the dial, as I mentioned before. I feel like loom-filled center portions give the watch this extreme legibility with the contrast of the actual green dial. So when it comes to legibility, Formex knocked it out of the park with the Reef. We also have that BGW9 Super Lumen Nova filled indices here to make for some killer low light performance. They shine bright and last long. This watch just kills when it comes to legibility and loom. Okay, so let's get straight into the pros and cons. We'll start off with the cons. I would say for me, the watch, or for me and for most, the watch would feel bulky, especially on the actual rubber strap that it comes with. I haven't had experience with the bracelet, but on the deploying clasp and strap, even though it's just 90 grams in weight, because of the bold case shape, I feel like that lends to this overall feel of the watch being almost a statement on wrist, and that might not be what everybody's looking for. Speaking of the case shape, I feel like this is a very divisive one. You're either going to love this or you're going to hate it. There's no real middle ground here. Most people aren't really fans of something that takes us out of the norm, you know? And I feel like that's going to create some diversity when it comes to the actual case shape. This might seem like a nitpick, but to me, I think this is a definite con. The watch has incredible polished edges when it comes to the case shape itself, but I feel like the brushing could have been a bit more prominent. It's quite fine, very fine in fact, and far too smooth. So it takes away from that tool nature feel that I feel like the watch is going for. To me, I would have loved to have seen a more prominent, deeper brushing on that case. And there comes the bezel. As you can see, interchangeable. I feel like the bezel is going to feel like a gimmick to some. At first, I admit, I definitely thought it was a gimmick, but I was more thinking of that because of the fear of the bezel actually clipping off and falling off and being too flimsy because of the fact that you can change it. You know, ideally you don't want to drop your watch, but if you do, you want to know that the watch can handle it, especially something this, premium. So when it comes to this watch itself, I was really concerned that the bezel wouldn't hold up to something like that. But with the experience that I've had on it, I feel pretty confident that it could handle any bumps along the way. I actually spoke to Formex and questioned them about this, and they haven't had any complaints from any customers regarding bezels falling off or anything. And knowing Formex, they've put their R&D into this. So I've moved away from the whole gimmick aspect, but it is something to note because I've heard from a few people that they feel like it is a gimmicky feature. Now the pros. On the bezel, I feel like this is a major pro for some. The fact that you can customize your watch is something that is done by some brands, but it's never done in a tasteful manner. A lot of the time it feels cheap, for the lack of a better word. And I feel like Formex have done it in a really classy way here. You can really get a new, fresh look for your watch without having to worry about spending far too much or really, changing the watch completely. And that's what I really like. It's fun, it's cool, it's practical, and it's different, which I really like. I mentioned the negative before regarding the fine brushing, but something I want to appreciate here and shed some light on, mind the pun, is the high polish on these beveled edges. The watch reflects light like something I've never seen before on all portions of it. And that's something I really appreciate. There's no better feeling than when you're not actually planning on looking at your wrist, but the light sort of grabs your attention. You look down and you just see all those fine edges just capturing the light. And I feel like Formex really nailed it when it came to the polishing with these faceted edges. So major pro when it comes to the actual way they've designed the case shape and the sort of light play on it. If you know me, you know I love legibility, and this watch is incredibly legible. The polished and brushed hands and indices really capture the light, and the contrast with the green dial. I've seen it on the white dial as well. Beautifully legible. Like there's no doubt you're just going to look down, you're going to tell the time. Now I know some people don't care about legibility in terms of reading the time on their watch because they just use their phones these days, but I would embrace people to actually lift up their wrist every now and then, not just to admire the watch, but to try and tell the time with it, because it's a pleasure when you have a watch that's really legible, and you only start to appreciate it when you got a watch that is not legible. So big marks to Formex for really nailing it when it comes to making the watch look and feel premium while also making it very practical. Let's talk crowns. I love the large crown that they went with. The beautiful sort of engraved logo or signed logo on the crown itself is a nice touch. And then the knurling on it is just phenomenal. Like there's no possible way you wouldn't be able to grip this and unscrew it. Speaking of screwing it, it feels so secure, so smooth. There is no, you're not doubting yourself when it comes to actually screwing it in. It nails it every single time. It feels perfect. It feels secure. Everything snaps in place. The crown is one of the best features of the watch, which is, seems a bit silly, but it is just incredibly well made. And that's the next pro. The watch just feels premium. It's clearly a luxury watch. It feels like a luxury watch. It looks luxury. And I feel like Formex nailed enough of that tool look, but also that luxury look at the same time. You want to feel like what you've spent your money on is worth every penny, and I feel like that is definitely the case with the Reef. Lastly, the deploying clasp. Now, obviously, this is a highlight for Formex. They've obviously put a lot of time and attention into creating this. I mean, it's a patented clasp of theirs. As much as I love it, I love the adjustment. I think it's a cool idea, cool feature. I do feel like maybe it's overkill to have it in carbon fiber. While it's obviously strong and it doesn't give you any doubt that it isn't, I should say. I can't help but be curious that I'd like to see it in steel. Now, this is not a negative. It's just something that I would like to see in a future edition, or maybe something that could sell separately. But overall, it's a really cool feature because it's nice to have the same, freedom of an on-the-fly adjustment that you would get from a premium bracelet. It's nice to have that on a strap. Major props to Formex for nailing that. Well, there you have it. My review of the Reef. I think it's an incredible watch for the price. I can't see anybody purchasing this and being upset overall. And I'd love to hear what you think about the watch down below. So make sure to comment and let me know. Thanks again to Formex for sending this long piece out. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. And remember to watch out.